So okay, so what I'll do then, I'll go through what the award is about. I'll explain to you a little bit about that, and then you'll see, you get a better feeling for what it's all about. And then we've got Risha here, who's going to talk a little bit about her experiences about the award. She's currently a gold participant, which is the highest level that you can do. So she's working towards that and hoping to finish. Is it next March, you said? Yeah. So it's going to be really quite cool to kind of have that feedback, and hopefully you can see kind of the effects it has. So the award then, it's made up of 3 levels and 4 sections, and as a participant, so the young person who is doing this will complete each level and complete all of these sections under each of those levels. Oh, hello. Oh, you're coming in support. Numbers. Strength in numbers. Yeah. Take a seat, take a seat. It's a pity turn up. Oh. Guys, come on, let's go. Sit down. Oh. Thank you very much, guys. Right, okay. Are you guys familiar with the award? Are you familiar with the award?
Yes.
You do it in your schools?
Yes.
Are you any of you doing it?
No.
What age are you? No, what age are you? What age? What year group? 15. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Which schools are you at? Are you all at the same school?
Yeah.
Which school? Okay. Don't they offer it there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So you're familiar with it. I'm just currently going through it, just explaining, because not everyone's heard of it or necessarily does it. Okay. So we've got 3 levels: bronze, silver, gold, and under each one you get 3 levels. 4 sections under each level. So you've got we'll talk about those in a minute. So bronze, you can start at 14 years. You can do silver from the age of 15 and gold from the age of 16. It's entirely up to you at which point you pick it up. Okay, so if you're thinking now, I can't do it, I can't afford to do it, it doesn't matter. You've got actually to the age of 24 to have a go at doing it. So this is one of the good things. So it's another good thing as well, that maybe when you get to university, there's a good chance your university or college or whatever you go on and do will offer this in some shape or form in whichever country you decide to do it in. So that's one of the beauties of it. It's the international award. It's very international. And it is open to all. So yeah, and okay, if you're thinking, okay, maybe I can't afford it now, it's worth investigating to find out if there's ways that you can maybe find sponsorship or get ways to help you funding you to do it. So you start at 14, and as I just mentioned then, so there are 4 sections to the award. We've got the service, the skill, the physical recreation, and then the adventurous journey. And under the adventurous journey, you do what's called, an adventurous journey presentation. So you normally do a practice, okay, and then you do your assessed expedition. Now straight away people look at that and think, oh, I'm not into the outdoors, I don't like walking, I'm not Ray Mears, I'm not Bear Grylls. Yeah, it doesn't matter, okay, because if you look, it only makes up it's 1/4 of it. It's a quarter of the award. Okay, all the other stuff are things that you're doing that maybe that you'd like to do, that you're interested in, that maybe your students are thinking, okay, I'd really like to go and work in an animal shelter, okay, and go and help out. That would come under a service. Your skill, maybe you want to learn how to knit. You think, I've always dreamt of making my first ever woolly jumper. I don't know why in this part of the world you would, but maybe you do. So you go and learn how to knit. Physical recreation, you think, I've always wanted to become India's top cricket star. So I'm going to go to cricket camp and become the ultimate cricket player. And then so the adventurous journey is only just one aspect of it. So a lot of people get put off by the award because of the adventurous journey, and a lot of schools get put off. So if in your situation, if you're not currently offering it, a lot of schools get put off because they worry and think, oh no, but what if, how do I do it? I don't have any knowledge of the outdoors or running an expedition. It doesn't matter, because there are other institutions that will help you do that and offer that. And then when you get to gold level, you do something called the residential project, which Risha, who you're going to hear from in a minute, is actually going off to do hers in India in a few weeks' time. And the residential project is designed so you do minimum 5 days away. You're supposed to kind of be away from your peers and things like that, and it's going to be a range of different things. When I was doing my award, when I was at school, I went off and I worked on a canal for British Waterways. I was like building the wall on the side of a canal. Not very glamorous, it rained the whole time, which is England, and it was very muddy. But you can do lots of different things, lots of different options. Okay, so linking in, so the main thing that I want to be focusing on is the service part of the award, and linking it in with today's What Works workshop theme is Global Citizen. Okay, so before we do that, I just wanted to, I know it's probably a bit patronising, but I just wanted to make sure, that we understand what the words global and citizen mean. Okay, because in the context of the award, okay, we can interpret it in different ways if we, depending on where we are. Okay, now me personally, to give you a bit of background about me, I was explaining to Richard earlier, I'm half English, half French. Okay, so my dad learnt to swim. He swam across the channel, found my mum, and but I already straight away come from a dual nationality background, so I already had from the onset, quite a global start. Okay, I've lived abroad for most of my life. Lived in Japan for quite a while. I had the opportunity to visit other parts of the world, which in those years when flying was kind of like that, ooh, you're going on a plane was a big deal. I had great opportunities. So for me, when I see something like Global Citizen, for me that means quite a lot. It's quite a big deal to me because it's close to home, and it means that I understand I hopefully understand what it means to be kind of part of the bigger, wider world and how we fit into it and what we can contribute to it and how your students may want to be part of that bigger society. So global, this is according to the Oxford English Dictionary, obviously not the only source of information out there, but pretty handy. Okay, so global, relating to the whole world or worldwide, or relating to or encompassing the whole of something or a group of things. Okay, and again, I go back to this idea, what I like to think of global as well, is in this context of the award, how service, skill, physical, recreation, adventurous journey all encompass a student or a young person. Okay, that's quite important. And then citizen, a legally recognised subject or national of a state or commonwealth, either native or naturalised, or an inhabitant of a particular town or city. And I think, you madam, you're Emirati? Yes. Okay, but anyone else Emirati? No? So we come under the second category of we're an inhabitant, aren't we? Now I live in Abu Dhabi, okay, but I'm assuming everyone else lives in Dubai, okay? So we all are inhabitants of this country, of this city, okay? And I think that's very important, how that these two things, even though they come under two different definitions, what we're trying to do is this idea of global, is that it should be irrelevant whether we are someone of that country or someone from outside that's visiting. It's all about how we mix, how we integrate, how we get on with one another and how we learn from one another. That's quite important. And again, this is where I'm getting to in a minute, is that how the award helps us understand and develop those things as a young person and also as staff. And having been an ex-teacher, I understand the real importance of how that can really help change and develop our students in a school. So I'm going to hand over to Risha. So Risha is, I'm going to give a brief profile and she's going to introduce herself. So Risha is at the Ambassador's School in Dubai. She's 16, she's from India. She did her bronze award and she's now currently doing her gold award. She started in September and hoping to finish in March next year. Okay, so Risha, the floor is yours. Risha's going to basically give her views and her thoughts about the award and how it was.
Hi guys, my name is Risha, and as Tom mentioned earlier, I'm from Ambassador School. So I've done both my bronze and currently doing my gold. So I'll talk a little bit about my bronze experience, which I did when I was 14, and then I'll talk about my gold, which I'm doing now. So basically what I did in bronze is, again, do you remember the categorization into skills, physical, rec, and service and doing the trek, right? So for my skills, I took on something of my own interest, which is baking, and I turned that into my skill. So I did go for actual classes and I did get a certificate out of it, but since it's a 3-month course, I could do whatever I wanted to with the cake. So I tried out different ingredients, different ratios for a lot of things, and I actually turned out to make some pretty cool cakes. For physical rec, I joined my track team and I actually improved I was anyway doing track, but then I improved my track record. And currently I'm in the 9.5, 9.32 range. So that's actually pretty fast, guys. Okay, for services, since it's 3 months, I did during my summer vacation in India. I went to orphanages and temples, and I volunteered there. So basically in the orphanages, you have that initial bout of pity for everyone, but then you realize how happy they are with their situation and you become so conscious of your lottery of birth, and you really learn to appreciate the difference between first world problems and third world problems. And finally, I did my trek in Ras Al Khaimah. So I did both my practice trek and my actual trek. I think I walked about 15 kilometers in the mountains. And yeah, it was definitely an experience. The thing is, it's initially really hard. But then if you do it with your friends, the time just passes by because you're having conversations and you all are tired together. So it becomes like a group misery sort of thing. And then the time just flies by, basically. Now I'll talk about my goals. So for skills, I'm doing reading, and I really like the habit of reading because it just takes you to a whole other world. And sometimes we all need that escape from school life and stress and drama. So it really helps out. For physical rec, I'm doing kickboxing currently, and that's really helped me with improving my self-confidence and learning self-defense. And my coach is kind of strict, and he really pushes me to my limits. So I have crossed what I thought was my limits, and I've set a new bar all for myself. For service, there's a really cool animal shelter in Jumeirah, and I volunteer there on a weekly basis. And I also go to old age homes and I talk to old people with dementia, and basically they have been left alone there and they really do enjoy the company of a young person. And they have some pretty cool stories to tell. And relating that to being a global citizen, you meet people of many nationalities. You meet Syrians, you meet Lebanese, you meet French people, you meet proper Emirati people. But the thing that they all have in common is that they have a really cool life story to tell. And sometimes hearing that story is really worth it. For my trek, I went to Oman a couple of months ago, and again we had the same walking sort of thing, and we camped as well. Again, it's the same kind of pain and stress to finish the whole 25. This is 25. We did 25 this time, and we did 15 on land and 10 walking uphill. So it can get a little bit grueling, but then again, it's all worth it in the end because you're like, yeah, I walked that whole 25 kilometers. For another part of my service, I organize fairs in school with the help of the Bike Cares, and we usually sponsor these events out to kids in Africa who need help with education. So it's mostly towards the UNICEF perspective. Yeah. So now I'll bring everything together. It basically takes about 21 days to form a habit, and what doing the D of E award does is that it helps you inculcate this habit to become something lifelong. So you do something for like 3 months, it suddenly becomes a part of you, and you feel incomplete without doing it for a long time. And it's also something that you build up for a lifetime. So if you go out for trekking right now and you may not appreciate the outdoors, but you still do it, you might start to grow fond of it, because that's what happened to me. I used to hate the outdoors, and then when I finally did it, it was a newfound experience for me. And being one with nature is something we all should experience at least a couple of times in our life. And it also helps you build your own perspective of how the world should function, because going out and doing service for people, you get to see people from so many bouts of life, and you just realize how fortunate you are to be here right now. And yeah, again, it's pushing yourself to your own limits and setting new boundaries for yourself. It's building standards, and it's also constructing your own self-worth, which I think is really important at this age, because we are all going out into the world soon, and knowing that you're self-confident and that you have self-worth is really important right now. So this award helps you build that as well. So being teenagers growing up, I think this is a really good award to do. And one more thing, getting into colleges is really easy by doing this award. So you're giving yourself an extra push by doing it. Thank you.
Evenings, I'd quite